This is All About Home Construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell-Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right, All About Home Construction. Happy Saturday morning. Live here on WATA, waiting for Randy Blake to call us from the Rock and Roll Kitchen there at the VFW, where the breakfast is getting started as we speak. So, welcome to All About Home Construction, and there he is, Mr. Randy Blake. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. How are y'all?
It's Saturday morning, so we are great. So,
Good.
yeah, I was just mentioning that Randy, of course, at the Rock and Roll studio, at the Rock and Roll Kitchen studio there at the VFW.
Yep.
So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Got breakfast rolling already this morning?
Yeah, we got everything out but the biscuits, and the biscuits are coming.
All right. I want a good biscuit. I'm in an apple butter mood, so, a little jelly, a little apple butter, good to go. But you've got some nice gravy going on over there, right?
Yeah, it's hot, ready to go. Just give us about 10 minutes, and the biscuits will be out.
There you go. So, by the time you get over there, if you're listening right now in Boone, by the time you get over there, you'll have the biscuits ready.
Yep.
So, well, good stuff.
It's not bad for a bunch of volunteers.
Love it. So, well, good stuff. Got a, go ahead.
Well, we got country ham again. So now this is a meat lover's dream. Okay. And, cause it is basically proteins, all but the cheesecake and the, French toast casserole.
Yum. That's what I like. I'm telling you, man. The country ham, a little bacon, little eggs.
Oh yeah. I mean, we got some good bacon.
Nice.
And you know what? That's the number one thing that people eat is bacon.
I'm telling you, man, bacon can go good with about anything. I mean, I've even had donuts with bacon on them. So, bacon can go good with anything.
Dave, pancakes. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that, Terry.
You're good. So that's cool. So, but yeah, get on over there. They'll be there till 11 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Well, good stuff.
Yeah, got some good volunteers.
Love it. So head on over to VFW.
We are hoping that it's going to take a little while, but we are hoping to expand the kitchen and inside and outside. So
nice.
Well, it takes people coming through the door. The meal we're having in 2 weeks, we're going to have barbecued chicken quarters,
okay,
and ribs. So
sweet.
Nice. And we'll be having corn, baked beans, slaw, hush puppies. So come on out for it. We're just doing a little change up.
That's cool. I like that. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a big barbecue rib fan, but the thought of barbecue chicken actually this morning sounds pretty good too. So that'll be in 2 weeks from now, you said?
Yep. Be the third Saturday.
Okay. So, well, there you go. But, of course, since you're at the VFW, that means it's the first Saturday of the month for breakfast.
Yep.
And the first, welcome to August. And I didn't, there was no fog my way. Was there any fog when you got up this morning?
Yep, sure was. It's foggy now.
All right. So
Matter of fact, that was my next thing. You better get your beans out.
There you go. All right. Day one bean in the jar. All right. Good to know.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I don't ever remember it being foggy in June and July.
Yeah.
And, so the drought is still foggy in the mornings. That just blew my mind.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. But, well, and the thing is, the forecast doesn't look too good in terms of moisture, because it looks like pretty much all week we're going to have some chance of rain. So, the chances of having fog in the next week is pretty high too.
Yeah, I know. I've been fighting it with the hay. I missed that couple of weeks when it's dry,
right?
But that's the way it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would get too excited to be rolling hay this week for at least the first half of the week.
Yeah. Well, they say we can get up to 2 inches now.
I know, and a little bit here, a little bit there, but pretty much like I said, the next 5-day forecast has a chance of rain every day. So,
well, the good thing is where I'm running a little late, we've got second cutting already coming up in it, so there's still a lot of green in it.
Good.
Doesn't help you when you don't have a lot of seed heads on it. That's where your protein is.
Right. Well, what I like too is getting a little rain this time of year. In terms of the trees and stuff, it's maybe it'll help with some of the coloring a little bit as we get closer to fall here in the next month.
Well, fall might be a little later, with moisture coming on late like this, but
right.
This is the latter part of the month when the sap starts going down.
Right. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But look, I mean, all those wildfires in Canada and stuff, and so currently I'm kind of glad we got rain, so we don't have to deal with that threat anytime soon.
Well, I feel a little safer now than I did.
Right.
That's one thing I worry about is fires.
Sure.
We are very fortunate that we have the fire departments that we have in the area, especially with what fires we've had when the time was dry and they got them out pretty quick.
Right. Yep. So, well, good stuff.
And that is important to us. So.
Yeah, totally. So, all right. Well, cool. Well, so what else has been going on the last couple of weeks? How's the world of construction going?
Well, it's steady.
Good.
I mean, it's not slowing down, that makes me happy. So.
Right. Well, I mean, when things like fuel prices are up and stuff, and we're always going into late summer, it's that time of year when people are starting to think ahead to the winter time in terms of scheduling jobs and stuff. And so it's good to know that people are still interested, still working, and that work's still continuing for everybody.
It is. I think it's going to continue, but I was looking at prices of materials. They're still creeping.
Yeah.
And affordability, it's just not going to happen.
Right.
And, well, I mean, I hear everybody talking about it, but it can't happen. It will not happen.
Sure. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like everything is costing more now. I mean, groceries to gas to electric, and so when you look at the building materials, we got that big, huge growth back, 6 years ago now, and prices have settled since then, but they didn't settle to where they were prior to that.
No, they're never going to go back to that. So, no. I mean, probably the best thing that ever happened was, with the housing crunch was a lot of people retired out. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies started over with new employees, which took years to build those employees back up. So they're not paying the high wages they were back in 2010 and 11.
Right.
I mean, some of them are probably making it now, but that was just basically losing a lot of people. That's retooling.
Right.
It's about like the car industry has to do every 5 years retool.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, it's not an easy time to be out there. But again, the positive is there's work. If someone wants work, there's work out there, and that's the positive on that side of things. But
that's Dave about the biscuits.
On the other side of thing is homeowners who want to get something done. There's a wait and there's a cost for it.
There is, and it gets pretty frustrating.
Yeah.
And It's almost like we're coming back into the area like I'm getting all the way back into 2010 and 11 when prices were going up and they were only guarantee your price for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And there's, used to be building supplies to guarantee your price for 30 days.
Right.
That's not going to happen anymore.
Sure.
We've been instructed by the state of North Carolina that everything we estimate out now, we estimate put 10% on the price swing. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get money out of a homeowner after the price has gone up if you're not planning for the price to go up.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, I get it. But that leads us into our topic here, and we'll tease it a little bit before we go to break. And that is, with North Carolina growing and the region growing itself, especially the high country, the housing costs are increasing. And so now these guys, these first time buyers, these retirees, these, aging parents, they're all looking for affordable ways. Right. And so now It's like, what are some, I guess, alternatives that you could do in terms of the typical what we think of as the single family dwelling?
Well, that's it. And I think, and like I told you earlier before we got started today, that North Carolina's working with that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And tell you what, we'll take our first break, and then that way we can get right back into it and talk a little bit here about some accessory dwelling units. There you go. That's a fun, fancy name for you, Randy. We'll take a break, and we'll come right back. Thanks for listening to us. Is your landscaping looking tired, outdated, or just plain boring? Call CGB Landscaping. Carson, the owner, combines experience, talent, and creativity to transform worn-out flower beds into beautiful outdoor spaces that you'll be proud of. From fresh landscape designs to mulch to stunning water features that add beauty and relaxation to your property, CGB Landscaping can bring your vision to life. Best of all, his estimates are free. Don't settle for an ordinary yard when you can have something extraordinary. Call Carson today at CGB Landscaping, 828-775-4173, and see what a difference experience and passion can make. That's right. All about home construction here in WATA. Randy Blake, of course, at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW there in Boone, and biscuits are done, I'm guessing, by now, Randy.
Oh, they just went out.
Love it.
So, and that's the important part.
Nice. Well, there you go.
We've got that. That's what people was waiting on.
All right. Well, there you go. Get on over there, the VFW Kitchen in Boone here. They'll be there till 11 o'clock. All you can eat breakfast and hot biscuits ready to roll. So, all right. So
now there is no meat in the strawberry shortcake. So.
Okay. I can handle that. All right. So we mentioned there just before the break, North Carolina is trying to make a new law, if you will, pass a law, and it relates to tiny homes, but technically it's accessory dwelling units, which is not just tiny homes. I mean, it's backyard. Think of the garages, the garage apartments, mother-in-law suites, maybe in a basement apartment. The law itself kind of covers all of those things, not just tiny homes, but basically anything that you can think of. The small square footage, right?
Yep.
And,
well, the thing is, I remember when tiny homes first come out, and Watauga County was going, well, we don't know what to do with them.
Right.
They were stopping people from putting tiny homes in the county.
Right.
And, but they can't stop anything that is has a HUD sticker on it.
Right.
And what they're doing is to block them. There could be a town ordinance that says you have to have a minimum of, let's say, 1,400 square foot, which we know a tiny home is not going to go down to that size.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, but North Carolina is finally waking up and saying, hey, we've got a lot of seniors that, need places to stay.
Yeah.
First, it'd be great for first time home buyers. It'd be great for seniors.
Well, I think first of all, it's important to step back and say, okay, what is a tiny home? And there's two types. I mean, you've got small homes on a foundation, right? That is treated code wise like a traditional house. It's got residential codes, structural requirements, all the works, right? Safety, engineering, electrical, all that, right? That's just a house, if you will, on a foundation that's built and just happen to have a small footprint. And then there's the tiny homes on wheels, right? And that's where it's like not really an RV, but I guess you could classify some of them as RVs, right? But these are the travel trailers. These are the ones that whether or not they're permanent, and I put that in quotations, that were built on wheels.
It is. Now, what kills the tiny home is the width of it, okay?
Right.
Because a mobile home can go up to 14 foot wide. Modular can go up to 14 foot wide.
Right.
And but a tiny home is limited to 8'6".
Right.
Now you can go up to 14 foot wide on a tiny home, but then it's got to be put on a foundation. No longer can have wheels.
Right.
And then under North Carolina, well, hold on. Let me. I don't necessarily know if that's true or not because, when I moved back in '87, we bought a trailer, okay, and then we put a block foundation around it. Well, North Carolina changed the rules that as long as it had axles underneath it, it would always be a mobile home because you could take that, even though you took the axles out, you could put the axles back in it and pull it off.
Right.
Well, the tiny home could fall under that too. I can't find an ordinance on it. But I'm looking at a lot of tiny homes. Yes, they do have wheels sitting out in the middle of the field, but they've also got block foundations under them, so they're totally underpinned and everything,
right,
like a regular house.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then when you do that, see, you let them go ahead and set it up just like a regular modular. Then you come back in and take your axle, put block around it, and take your axles out.
Exactly. Now you got a quote unquote module home instead of a tiny. I mean, instead of a mobile home. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Well, and so that's really where some of this comes down to, right? Is not necessarily building code, but zoning codes, right?
Yeah, municipality codes.
Yeah.
And that's one North Carolina wants to address is that people have to be able to live somewhere. And right now, there's Charlotte, Asheville, Raleigh, Greensboro, and Mills River is part of the tiny home community that accepts tiny homes in their cities. Okay. Right. Durham, I was looking earlier. Here I'm cooking breakfast and trying to do my radio show too.
Yeah.
Do our radio show. Durham considers them trailers.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, right? And so it comes down to the zoning and whether or not these lawmakers are willing to allow them, right? And so what's going on in the state right now is, again, this accessory dwelling units, and basically that. My understanding is that's sort of the ADU is like it's not really size limited. I mean, even though majority of them are smaller square footage, but it's more in that it's not quote the main house, if you will, right? Like in other words, these are like you have your main house living structure, and these are additional structures that you sell or rent out. And that's sort of where these things are, where this ADU legislation in the state is being proposed, and it's making pretty big headways, by the way. But basically, it's just going to it requires cities to allow the ADUs in residential areas instead of just saying no, you can't have them, right?
In Durham, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. There's a rule that a house has to be a minimum of 400 square feet.
Right.
And I sent you a text of that $15,000 unit,
Yeah.
which is about 112 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
See, so that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's the reason some of them aren't being accepted, because of their square footage size.
Right. And I guess this ADU law would I guess help. I don't know. I don't know if I can't find anything about square footages on this. My understanding is it kind of prevents and makes it harder for these cities and municipalities to zone them like that.
Well, that's the reason North Carolina's trying to pass a law.
Right.
See, in 2022, the law was changed on building codes because under the state law now, municipalities can't dictate what the building code is in the state of North Carolina.
Right.
Like Boone was requiring a building permit to do a roof. No, the state of North Carolina does not require a building permit till the roof crosses $40,000.
Right. Right. Well, and that's sort of the thing, right? Is North Carolina trying to even the playing field, I guess you would say, between the cities, the municipalities, and it really, again, it comes down to this housing problem, and that's what we started the show with, is right. Everything costs more. First of all, there's less affordable options, and there's still that demand. The demand is still high for people wanting to buy a house. Whether it's whether it's in first house, small family, big family, or retires, it's still, there's still that thing. And look, it wasn't that many weeks ago, really. I mean, 2 or 3 months ago that they came out with a study in the high country is like the highest place in the state to live. And that's part of the problem, right? There's no housing. We're starting to look at the trends. You're starting to see less people in terms of families, school age people, people with kids and stuff. They're not living here like they were 10 years ago. There's a lot of college people. There's a lot of retired people still, but the quote unquote families just can't afford to live here. And so I think looking at this housing problem, whether you like them or not, right, something's got to be done, and I guess this is one of the solutions, hopefully.
It is. That's what the state's going to have to get involved.
Yeah.
And, well, they are getting involved.
Right.
But just like you said right there, these people comes and goes and boom. And one of the biggest thing is we don't have industry. Right. And we've talked about this in the past, and how 95% of the graduating class of Watauga High School will be gone in just a couple of years after they graduate, because there's nothing to hold them here.
Last day, right.
And Boone is great. Don't get me wrong, but Boone is only for one thing, and that's football. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's my political statement for today.
But you're right. I mean, in that there's no. I mean, it's you work for the college, you work for the school system, you work for the hospital. There's not a lot of large industry, if you will, out there other than that. And so you're right.
No, there's not. And they don't want to grow. They don't want to. They want the college to grow, but they do not want the communities in the area to grow.
Right.
There is no zoning in the county.
Right.
So you could actually, but due to the health restrictions, you still have to have a 1 acre lot to put a 400 square foot tiny house on.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that's got to be worked on. Yeah. And because a tiny house, most of them are a 1 bedroom, not a 2 bedroom. Mm-hmm. But the North Carolina code for the health department is all systems that goes in is for 2 bedrooms.
Right.
Well, you can do that on a 3/4 acre lot, but you can't do that on a 1 acre. Or you cannot.
Right.
You cannot put a two a well, a septic system for a 2-bedroom house, and a repair field in a 3/4 acre lot, you have to have a minimum of 1 acre.
Yeah.
And where are you going to find 1 acre pretty flat?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the problem. All right, we'll take another break. We'll come right back right after this. Thanks for listening to us. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right. All About Home Construction. Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW there in Boone. Get on over there and say hello. And sounds like you got a crowd behind you, Randy.
Yeah, we got a few folks in here.
All
we
right.
got people that sitting at the bar.
Nice.
You know, it is 350 margaritas, or not margaritas, Bloody Marys and screwdrivers. So.
All right. Nice. So, well, they're good stuff. Good stuff. Talking a little bit about tiny homes and the ADUs and stuff like that. But, you know, one thing that I think is interesting when we think of this, right, is if you go back and look at anything prior to 50s and 70s, I guess is when nationwide these codes started coming in, or these zoning codes, that is. But this tiny home, what we think of as this tiny home movement now, is really not any different than what we've been doing for hundreds of years. I mean, look at last week, right? I was in Leslie, and now we're out, and we went to Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, and we hit up all the Cades Cove and stuff. And I'm looking at some of these houses, these like quote log homes, right? And that's just like if you took that today, modernized it, you would have what we would consider a tiny home on a permanent foundation.
Yeah.
And think back like carriage houses. I mean, that maybe not necessarily here in the high country, but carriage houses back in the 1800s was a big thing. I mean, you had a large house and you had a garage, carriage house that became a garage, and you'd have a little living space above them, and that was just normal. And even in the 70s and 80s, though, when you had these like single wide trailers, minus the foundation part, footprint wise, square footage wise, guess what? That's a tiny home. So the idea is not new. It's not a new idea. We've twisted it. We've put a cool, fancy little title of calling them, something cute, I guess you'd say. But the idea of living in small square footage is not a new idea.
I think actually the first trailer I bought was about 320 square feet.
Right. I mean,
10 by 32.
Yeah. So, again, this living in 300 to 500 square feet is not a new concept. And it's just we're trying to go back, I think, and look at it into a modern way. But again, the zoning, and I guess that's where I was trying to go, is the building codes necessarily don't prohibit. It's not that like statewide or nationwide that these tiny homes are quote illegal. It's just that the zoning doesn't allow them, right? And that's really where things are coming from. And when you look back, you gotta take it back. You gotta step back. You gotta be okay. Where did zoning begin?
Well, encroachment is probably what caused it. So,
Well, I think a lot of it was, that boom after World War II, and when we saw this nationwide, we saw this suburban growth. People started buying cars, therefore they could live further out in the cities. They had, that middle class really boomed. And so now you got these subdivisions developing, and it really became this like one house on the lot kind of thing, and just the changing and shifts from that, right? And don't get me wrong, like there's some. I'm not saying get rid of zoning, but that's where it is. It started out with the factories, but you have the neighborhoods not against the factories, right? Neighborhoods are now in their own area. You drive into the industrial area where you're working. And that's really where zoning kind of came in. And then again, now fast forward, 50, 75 years, and, we just, like you said, I mean, some municipalities do better than others. Some of them are very strict, and with kind of setbacks and lot sizes and how many people can stay there. When you start getting into towns and cities, you got to worry about parking, and things like that.
Yeah. Well, they're coming. They're coming pretty fast. And I agree with them.
Right.
Never know. Might want one myself.
Right.
Because now there's only two of us. 1,200 square foot is quite big.
Right.
And then it turns around and when all the youngins is there, and then 1,200 square foot is a little small.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, but that's where you're starting to see. Leslie and I went to visit some people, and they had a little tiny home on the river. And what they've done is you've got the living space, if you the home space, if you will, the bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, in this tiny home footprint. But then you start adding in, and so now you have like an additional outdoor living space, or some kind of deck, or some kind of patio, and and this one happened to be a closed-in patio. And so what you're doing is again going back to that more traditional way of living, and where you're kind of using all the space around you, and so now, yes, you may have four walls, maybe a small footprint, but you're not limited. You can go out, and so now you can have the kitchen area outside. You can have the lounge area outside, especially in the summertime.
You're not limited. Now you're not limited to deck sizes on these homes, and because one thing I see with the tiny homes is that people's going to put decks on them, and then they're going to think, well, golly, I can take that window out. Now I can build an addition on it.
Right.
Yeah. And,
but so that comes back to the tiny home thing, is like, it's especially the permanent ones on a permanent foundation, like they're just modulars where you're just adding and subtracting the how many pieces you're adding. Right.
Yeah.
In other words, you were mentioning off the air, like you can buy this. There's some manufacturers where you can buy this set up, and it's like, okay, here's my 350 square feet. Oh, but wait, I want to add another 350 square feet. So here's this second unit that's attached to it now, and it's I don't know. It's kind of like Legos, right? Like where you're just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna build on right here. I'm just gonna add this unit here.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think it's kind of nice because it kind of, again, it gives you it. What I like about it, whether you agree with the tiny house or not, what I like about it is it gives people options, right?
Yes, it does. And that one tiny home I was looking at was $35,000, and it was 8'6" by 15.
Right.
Now that's just basically a camper.
Yeah.
But that might be the thing that saves the cities on their housing projects, affordable housing, and for homeless folks.
I mean, I agree. And again, maybe the ADU stuff whether it's a backyard cottage or a garage apartment or a tiny home, right? Like it comes in handy because, again, like you mentioned, like maybe you want a parent that lives near you. Maybe you're a parent, single, and retired, and you want to live back closer to the grandchildren, right? Or maybe you have an adult child that that single wants to live by themselves. All of those are great options, and then of course there is the rental income, right? You can rent it to, especially like these college people, things like that, and so maybe you look at it as an investment too. It depends on the situation.
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at a tiny home that's manufactured in North Carolina, and it has a loft in it. Mm-hmm. Not a big loft. It'd be a little hard for me to get up the stairs. To see if they can do that, where me as a builder, I can't, because they're showing a set of stairs going up the side with no handrail.
Well, so that's what I'm kind of confused on, and again, I'm not a contractor like you, and building codes I think come into play, but I guess there's ways around this building codes wise, I think, with like houses that are smaller than 350 square feet. Isn't there like exceptions if you do it this way instead of that way, so that you can, for instance, cut down on the steepness of the stairs and things like that? Is there a way to, I guess, get by some of these rules? Because I can't. Okay. These certified tiny homes can do it, but see, that all comes in under HUD. Okay. HUD's allowing it. Like that one I just looked at, it looked like the steps going up to the loft were 12 inches high. Right.
You take and the bedroom's on the second floor in that loft. There's no way in the world you could get up in there, a 70-year-old person. Well, yeah, they probably can, but but they won't do it all their life. What's left of it. That wasn't a very good tiny home.
Girl, it's really
personally. How about that?
Well, and I guess that's yeah. Well, I mean, the older I get, the less I don't know. I hate going up and down the stairs more now than I ever did before. But okay. So it says here the key to this is apparently Appendix Q of the NC Residential Code, and I don't have Appendix Q. You can tell me maybe one day. But it talks about that's where traditional homes shall follow the standard stair requirements, and it talks about maximum and minimum heights and risers and treads and headroom, handrail. It says, but if Appendix Q was created specifically for tiny homes up to 400 square feet to provide alternative standards.
Exactly.
So there is a code. Appendix Q, I guess, is how you get around that, and it makes it minimum and maximum is different, but it's for a house under 400 square feet. So there is still codes for it. Yeah, Appendix Q. There you go. There's your homework, Randy.
Late July.
Well, that's what I was trying to do. Look up now.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just a quick Google search, and reading this website. So I don't know. It's interesting, but either way, like it comes back down. We always said this, right? Like building to code versus building, efficiently and comfort. And like you said, like I don't want to climb up a ladder every time I go to bed.
No.
But that's still, there's ways around that, and and that's what I like is like you can still have these small footprint homes, but the big key is affordability. So let's take a break, and we'll come right back right after this. Thanks for listening to us. Are you looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment you need to get the job done? Look no further than Blue Ridge Sawmills. We offer the full line of Hudson sawmills and sawmilling equipment, from portable sawmills to skidding winches. At Blue Ridge Sawmills, we understand that every project is different, which is why we offer a wide range of sawmilling services. We can help you from everything from finding the right mill for your farm, hobby, or even your business. We also offer a variety of sawmilling supplies such as blades and debarkers, so you can get everything you need in one place. If you're looking for a sawmill dealership that can provide you with the quality equipment and the service you need, then come to Blue Ridge Sawmills. We're here to help you get the job done. Call or visit our Cana, Virginia store at 276-755-3833 or our Asheboro, North Carolina location at 336-964-8304. That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. Randy Blake at the Rock and Roll Kitchen at the VFW this morning, serving up a wonderful breakfast until 11 o'clock. And
Yep, come on out.
there you go. And then don't forget, 2 weeks from now, the 15th, August the 15th, we had mentioned earlier, Randy will be back in the Rock and Roll Kitchen, not for breakfast, but for dinner on the 15th. And I'm excited about this one. It's something a little different, little barbecue chicken and ribs, you say?
Yep.
So there you go. Make plans on the 15th for that one. So cool stuff.
Yeah, come on out. We appreciate everybody coming out and seeing us and stuff.
Yeah. Well, we love it. And appreciate all the VFW does and appreciate all those listeners who are getting over there and helping support them and helping them in their in their endeavors. So thanks a lot. Talking a little bit this morning about ADUs and tiny homes and small living, if you will, and just that again, it's more than not. It doesn't come down with the legality of building it. It comes down with where you can build, zoning instead of construction, right? And that's the thing. So this law, if it passes, doesn't necessarily make tiny homes legal everywhere, but what it does is it does loosen the restrictions.
Clear the way for them.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that's going to be cool. I mean, because you're still going to have building codes. You're still going to have inspections, septic requirements, and things like that. Like, that law doesn't get rid of those, but it loosens up the zoning restrictions.
Yeah, I did find that Appendix Q.
Yeah, okay.
Appendix Q was adapted in 2015.
Okay.
I'd never heard it, but one of the things that blows my mind is habitable lofts for sleeping areas.
Yeah.
Must have a minimum floor area of 35 square feet. And that's 6 by 6 is 36 square feet.
I was going to say, that's like a 6 by 6 room. Wow, you can't even put a bed in there.
Well, be an air mattress. How about that?
Yeah, right? I mean,
and it has to have a ceiling height of 5 feet.
Oh, wow. It's that low, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Now, ceiling height for tiny homes has a minimum of 6 foot 8 inches.
Okay. That makes sense.
And then bathrooms and kitchens can go down to 6 foot 4 inches.
Okay, so that that would be like if I built a bedroom. Let's say you're taking a tiny house and you've got the little loft section, right? And you built in a bed, so you'd have to have that 5 feet clearance, and then you'd have to have 6 feet 36 or 35 feet of floor space.
Square foot floor area.
That's beginning to make a little sense. So you could have a bed built in. I'm thinking of like these tiny homes that have like a gooseneck trailer frame, where you put you put the bedroom part above the gooseneck hitch, whatever you want to call that, and the gooseneck itself. You put a little bedroom up there. It has to be 5 foot tall. After in the bed space. I get it. I'm following you now.
You can put a 3 foot by 6 foot 6 cot in there, which will cover 19.8 square feet of your 35. So
yeah,
wouldn't leave much for a chest of drawer.
No. Well, that's the thing about tiny home living. Whether it's these quote tiny homes or garage apartments, it's not meant to have a lot of stuff. I mean, you're going back to more traditional living where, you've got your space to live. You're not entertaining a big party there. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, I think about it and I'm wondering, like, how many times do I really, especially back when I was single, like how many times did I really even use the living room and the kitchen? Like, how many minutes of the day was spent there? Like, you know what I mean? Like I can sit on a couch and watch TV in my bedroom if I wanted to, and be comfortable. More and more with appliance technology, there's washers and dryers now that are one unit. So it's not like you got to have space for two pieces of equipment. You just got to have space for one piece of equipment now. People don't cook on range stoves the way they used to. And so, you got a one burner and a small oven or a convection oven, takes the place of that. Small refrigerators are more efficient than they were, 20 years ago. And so you can keep your drinks cold. I don't know. I'm not saying it's for me, but I'm saying that, like, I get it. It makes total sense. And I do like it. And I think, if I didn't have kids, because that's my problem, right? I got a lot of kids. Leslie and I, between the two of us, we got too many kids to live in a tiny home. But when the kids move out, I kind of like the idea of a small footprint, and then we can travel all the time,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of cool. Well, okay.
Well, they have to put codes in there because looking here, you can buy a 10 by 12 shed, windows and doors for $2,790.
Yeah, see, that's where my brain goes, and I've thought about this for a long time. You can buy that, especially do it yourself to kind of guys we are. Like I could buy that, put it up, insulate it, run electricity, and I put my own bathroom in there, put plumbing in there.
Well, you wouldn't believe a lot of people would try it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it, and again, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's finish this up. Why should contractors pay attention to this law, Randy? I mean, I guess that's the question is, from a contractor point. It's like, why? What does it matter to you?
Well, we have to pay attention to it because the law demands that we do because of our licenses. Mm-hmm. But a homeowner doesn't have to pay attention to it the way we do.
Right.
Where they would probably get in trouble with is with the tax people in the county. Mm-hmm. I'm looking here at a building, a 12-foot by 16-foot wood storage shed kit without the floor. Now you'd have to put the floor joists under, and it's $5,900. That's not too bad.
Right.
And it's a prefab.
I mean, like I said, so by the time you insulate it and put electricity in it, you're still under $20,000 if you did it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a dried in structure, insulated for $20,000 or less. That's.
Well, I'd go ahead and push it up a little because you need to figure out what you're going to do with your floor system. Are you going to put it on a wood floor system on post, or are you going to use blocks? See, that's right. There's a big change in that.
Fair.
And
I like it. Yeah. Again, what I like about this is by if this law does pass, by having this in there, by looking at these tiny homes and this tiny home footprint living, is not, it doesn't force everybody to do it, but what it does is it allows for people who want to do it. And to me, that's having that option. And I could see it on the building side of things, the contractor side. I could see where now, you can build a 600 square foot house a lot cheaper and a lot faster than you can a 2,000 square foot house. So even on that end, if you're in the construction end, maybe there's more opportunities for more jobs,
Yes, there is.
So I think it's a win-win.
It is, and you can actually. I can't put it up there, but because I'm on radio. But there is a section of the residential code that you can actually download off the internet.
Yep.
That will help you on your tiny home.
All right, there we go. Well, Randy, it's been fun. Have fun at the Rock and Roll Kitchen until 11 o'clock for breakfast, and then don't forget, in 2 weeks from now, you'll have dinner again. So.
Yep, our dinner.
All right, man.
Matter of fact, the fish and chips went over excellent.
Love
Thanks
it.
everybody for coming out.
Love it. Well, Randy, we'll see you next week, buddy. Take it easy.
All right.
See you, man.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening to All About Home Construction. We air every week on Saturday mornings on WATA in Boone. Please like this podcast, comment, share it. Hey, let everybody know where you found it. Thanks for listening.